comedy is fantastic because it allows you to broach it in a really light-hearted and entertaining way. And I think hopefully you can, a horrible word, but educate people while they don't even realise it, while they're just laughing. And I think if you can make people laugh, they come open to you and you can forge a connection so that they're more receptive to what you're saying. And I see almost jokes as like a Trojan horse. You can put a lot in a joke and you can disguise it as something really funny and entertaining, but actually it's got something very serious inside it. And that's what I really love about comedy. I love what you can say through it. Well, as a young child, I had a very loving family, and they always made me feel very secure, very confident. They never viewed me as different. They always told me, "You're Francesca." So I grew up with this kind of rock solid self-esteem. I was so happy. I wanted to perform, to act. I loved life. And then I went to secondary school, and quite quickly I realised the world doesn't view me as I view myself. And the world actually defines me as different, as disabled, as an object of pity, and that was very shocking. And throughout high school I began to adopt those views myself. And I became very depressed, very insecure. And I kind of let those views define myself. And then I was lucky enough to get a part in Grange Hill, which was amazing, and it took me out that negative environment and put me in a place I was a lot happier. And I felt I was there because of what I could do and not what I couldn't, and it was a very empowering process. So that restored some of my self-worth. And then I talk about having a romantic encounter when I was like 19 years old, and this person changed my entire life because he said to me, "You're not faulty or wrong or abnormal. You're Francesca, and everyone's different." And he made me realise that I could choose how to be myself. I didn't have to adopt these labels. I could just go, "I'm me, I'm perfectly me." And that realisation had such a profound effect on my life. It transformed everything because I suddenly stopped feeling like the odd one out, and I realised, have you ever met a normal person? Who is normal? Where are they? No one's normal. Everyone's different. And it inspired me because I suddenly felt part of humanity in a way that I hadn't done so. And then I began to do comedy, and that was so cathartic. And again, it allowed me to connect with people as a person and to open up my own life and to humanize a label that scares people. So I went through quite a transformation, and I think, my latest show is all about how we see ourselves, because I think whatever body you're born into, there are so many crazy pressures on us to be normal. And I think we're all struggling with those questions of like, who am I? Do I like myself? Do I feel attractive? Am I good enough? And I've realised that the best approach for me anyway was to just say, I'm me, and I'm going to get on with enjoying life and stop worrying about everything, because my life will be over before I know it. You know what I realised, and it was quite a shocking thing to realise, I realised our society is set up to make people feel bad. So when people sit at home and say, "I'm sad, I don't like myself, I'm weird," you're not weird. You're doing exactly what you're meant to do. We live in a consumer society. in order to sell us things, we have to be made to feel inadequate, like we need to buy stuff. And so our insecurities are preyed on everywhere. Number one, don't ever buy a celebrity magazine. They are like eating poo. They're terrible. Don't do it. I stay away from them. They're just designed to make you hate yourself. And to me, that's the biggest crime. It's like, I feel that much of society and adverts and the media try to strip away our basic enjoyment of life. When you see little kids, they don't care about what they look like, what their hair looks like, what their nose looks like. They are living life. And at some point, that joy is just taken away from this bombardment of aspiration all the time. So I think in order to free yourself from it, it's quite hard. I think you've got to almost see through the lies. You've got to realise we're being told lies. We're being told that beauty and wealth and fame are what you need to be happy. But look at celebrities. Like, they're hardly paradigms of inner peace, are they? Like, it's absolute rubbish that those things make you happy. If anything, they're really hard to deal with. They make you really insecure, and they make you really likely to suffer from mental health issues. I think ultimately the aim's got to be full integration and not segregation. So I think if I had a vision for the future, it would be that all kids of all abilities grow up side by side, because then children grow up with the knowledge that difference is normal. And that, you know, Johnny might have one arm or Jenny might not be able to walk, but they're kids, they're people. And I think that inclusive education is really key to creating that kind of society. Saying that we need to really cater and support special needs. It's not about just, you know, dumping them in the mainstream school and saying get on with it. It's about tuning into what every child needs. But I think to define kids by what they can't do and to place them in a building because, oh, you all can't do that, it's very negative criteria. And I really battled against that in my life. I never wanted to be anywhere because I couldn't do something. And so even though mainstream school had hard elements, I always felt fully part of society and fully able to deal with people. And I think if you segregate disabled kids all their lives and then at 18 expect them to deal with society and vice versa, that's very difficult. So I think we need to stop defining people by what they can't do, because we all have things we can and can't do. It would be as crazy as saying we're going to have a school for kids who can't sing, or for children who can't dance or run fast. It's totally arbitrary and it doesn't make sense, and it just makes disabled people feel like a separate group and as if they're not fully part of society as a whole. And you know what? So-called disabled people, they don't feel like they're a disabled person. They're a person and they feel normal.